Hi, I'm with Mr. Stafford, the band director. Mr. Stafford, would you please explain your profession?
Yes, I'm the band director at Union County High School.
Okay. And what are your duties and hours that you work?
Well, my duties are to help individuals get better as musicians and hopefully as people as well, and to help them not only succeed on marching festivals and concert festivals, but also to improve and grow and hopefully improve on their slows.
Okay. What educational background is needed in order to perform this profession?
I forgot to answer the hours question. The hours, a lot more than 40 hours a week, usually about 60 on a normal week. Pretty crazy. But,
Yeah.
what was the next question? Educational background.
Yeah.
You have to have a bachelor's degree,
Mm-hmm.
and since we are no longer like a public or charter school now, so you don't have to have like a teaching, you don't have to have a degree in teaching, but you actually don't even have to have a teaching certificate. But I have a teaching certificate. So.
Right. Do you speak Spanish in your job?
No, I don't.
Would you use it if you could speak it?
If I could, well actually I can speak it, I just haven't had the opportunity to speak it. If I needed to, I would.
Okay. Would the use of Spanish in your profession benefit you in teaching, and how?
I think it would if we had more students whose native language was Spanish, but we really don't.
Right.
If we did, then it would certainly benefit me.
Does your job require you to distribute any information in Spanish?
If it does, I haven't been doing it. No, I'm sure if we had native speakers, then we would. But I haven't had that, so.
Right. Does your profession exist in a Spanish-speaking country?
Yes, absolutely.
Would you ever consider moving to a Spanish-speaking or foreign country for your job?
Probably not.
Why not?
Well, because I'm not as good at Spanish anymore as I used to be, and I have to brush up on that.
Right. But if your profession paid more money to bilingual employees, would you be willing to learn Spanish and use it in your profession? And how much money would it be in order to interest you?
Well, if I got $10,000 or more a year extra in my pay, I'm sure I'd be learning some Spanish.
I'm sure everybody would.
Yeah.
Have you ever traveled outside the U.S.?
Yes.
Where?
Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, the Netherlands, Czech Republic, Mexico, Canada, somewhere else, but I don't remember.
Did you have any encounters in which it would be beneficial to speak another language?
I actually had to speak another language. I went to Italy. I guess I left Italy out. I went to Italy and studied saxophone for a summer, and I stayed with a host family, which I thought was a family, and actually ended up being just a single woman who was like 50, and I was 18, so that was interesting. But I had to, I noticed that Spanish and Italian sounded similar, and she didn't speak English, so I just started speaking Spanish, and she knew Spanish, and so I actually went to Italy and spoke Spanish the whole time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what holds people back from learning another language, and at what point do you feel that learning a new language is a priority?
I think where we live holds people back because there's really no need to learn it here because there's not enough people that speak Spanish. You know, if we lived in Atlanta where there were more Spanish-speaking people, I would absolutely learn Spanish. I would have to be part of my job, but here it's kind of unnecessary since we don't really have, I mean, it would be good to know. So I think geography plays a big role in that.
And at what point do you feel that learning a new language is a priority?
Well, I don't see it really being a priority for me unless I get a student that requires me to do it, and then I would.
Right.
But again, I know enough to get by, but I would have to brush up a little bit.
Did you take a foreign language in high school, and which language?
I took Spanish in high school, 1 and 2.
What do you remember from the class?
I remember basic stuff about, hello and what to eat and where's your house and where do I live and how do I get to here and where's the bus station and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't remember much more than that. I know how to talk about music. I could say play the saxophone and talk about band and stuff in Spanish. That's really probably at this point about all I can do, although I was the same way when I went to Italy, and it just all started coming back to me. I had like a Spanish to English or English to Spanish dictionary, and I would forget words, and I had to look them up, and I eventually remembered Spanish because I had to.
Right. If you had to go back and take the class again now, do you think you would approach it differently, and how?
I'd probably continue taking it. I never took Spanish 3. They did not, I don't think they offered Spanish 3 until I was like a junior. That's the first time they offered it. See, I took Spanish 1 in 8th grade, and then Spanish 2 in 9th. And so I moved here in 10th grade, so I was already done with Spanish. I took it in Florida, and they didn't have Spanish 3 at the time. And so I took a year off, and then they were like, oh, by the way, no, I took 2 years off, and it was like, oh, by the way,